This isn't just another routine update from the palace. At exactly 4:47 p.m. GMT, something unusual happened. The royal social media accounts suddenly went silent. Not a single post or tiny update appeared. The abrupt quiet felt almost unsettling, making you wonder what was happening behind the scenes. There were no cheerful announcements, no polished photos, no subtle hints, just a complete stop. And if there's one thing we've learned, it's that silence from the royal family is never random. When everything goes quiet, it usually means something important is taking shape out of sight. And when Kensington Palace put out a 15-word notice at 5:02 p.m., it sent a wave of unease across the UK. It felt like something serious was about to unfold, and no one was prepared for it. So what exactly is happening behind the scenes? Make sure to drop a 1-inch in the comments if you feel moved by this story, or a 0 if you see it differently. Share your thoughts with us, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss what comes next, where we'll break down all the details behind this unfolding situation. Before we dig into what this really means for the royal family, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any updates. The monarchy runs like a finely tuned machine, morning smiles from engagement photos, carefully timed afternoon posts from royal foundations, and the steady, predictable rhythm of an institution that has adapted to modern life over centuries, always organized, always meticulously planned. But this silence didn't follow the usual pattern. There were no glitches, no official delays, just a deliberate, unusual quiet that felt unusually intentional, impossible to overlook, and enough to make anyone notice that something out of the ordinary was happening behind the scenes. Veteran royal reporters, the ones who've spent decades covering the monarchy, started calling each other within minutes. They knew this wasn't normal protocol. They knew the palace never breaks its routine without a reason. And when even unofficial royal photographers began packing up early outside Clarence's house, it became clear that something had shifted. Then, at exactly 5:52 p.m., the palace broke its silence, not with answers, but with tension. The message was short and cryptic. Kensington Palace would release an important statement at 6 p.m. tonight. That was it. No names, no topics, just a countdown. The response was immediate and explosive. Newsrooms across London erupted. Phones rang non-stop, and social media exploded with speculation. Was it a death? Had the king stepped down? Was a major scandal brewing inside the palace? Major TV networks interrupted their regular programming. The BBC anchors switched to formal black attire, while Sky News presenters gripped their scripts with trembling hands. In a world where every move of the royal family is scrutinized, this level of coordinated silence sent a clear signal that something serious was happening. Some insiders whispered it involved the Princess of Wales, while others suggested it was a wider crisis, possibly affecting both the king and the heir. But no one knew for sure, and that uncertainty made it all the more terrifying. For the first time, the most tightly controlled institution in Britain seemed to have lost control of the story, even if only for an hour. Inside Kensington Palace, William and Catherine sat together in silence. No one else in the room, no aides, no distractions, just the two of them holding hands while the world outside swirled with speculation. Catherine's eyes were dry, too dry, as if she had already shed all her tears. William looked exhausted, as if he hadn't slept in days. Upstairs, their children were with their nanny, shielded from the storm that was about to hit, completely unaware that in less than an hour, the world would learn the truth their parents had been too fearful to speak. And as the clock struck 6 p.m., the world held its breath, only to be struck by the unimaginable. Catherine had once stood in Windsor Gardens, speaking about childhood development and hopes for the future. But this time, her voice trembled as she spoke a word no one expected: cancer, stage 3. With a calm yet fierce composure, concealing months of private pain, the Princess of Wales looked into the camera and forever changed the monarchy. The moment the video aired, time seemed to pause. Catherine, sitting in the same garden where she had once shared words of hope, now carried the invisible weight of something far darker. There was no media frenzy, no grand royal backdrop, just her voice, calm, careful, and unmistakably real. Her opening words were simple, almost clinical, but when Catherine revealed stage 3 ovarian cancer, the illusion of perfection shattered. For the first time, the world saw the Princess of Wales not as a flawless icon, but as a woman fighting for her life. The video, just 2 minutes and 47 seconds long, carried a power no royal address in decades could match. She wasn't broken. She wasn't asking for sympathy. She spoke calmly and openly, like a mother preparing her children for a heartbreaking truth. She discussed her treatment, stepping back from royal duties and placing her trust in her medical team. Then she looked straight into the camera, not with fear, but with quiet determination. She would fight, no matter the odds. It was a powerful statement of inner strength and resilience, not just from a princess, but from any woman facing such a challenge. Within seconds, millions had tuned in, and by the end of the first hour, the video had already surpassed 100 million views. Global news channels immediately interrupted their regular programming. Front pages were redesigned in real time. Online, messages of support and tribute poured in like never before. Hashtags, such as Stand with Catherine and Royal Strength, quickly began trending across platforms. Cancer survivors shared their own stories. Mothers saw themselves in her. Fathers held their children a little tighter. And behind countless screens, tears fell for a woman most would never meet, yet somehow felt deeply connected to. The official statement released at the same time confirmed what the video had made clear. Catherine would be stepping back from public life indefinitely, with no royal engagements planned for the near future. The woman once seen as the steadfast face of the monarchy would no longer be in the spotlight. The responsibility for public appearances, ceremonies, and representation would now fall to William, who, according to the statement, would continue his royal duties while supporting his wife and their children through this difficult time. But the full weight of what had just happened didn't sink in until the messages began pouring in. King Charles, who had recently been dealing with a private health issue, released a personal statement, calling Catherine the strength of the next generation. Camilla followed with words of unity and motherly support. Then came a message that left many stunned from Prince Harry and Meghan. Short, restrained, yet undeniably sincere, they wrote, "We are thinking of Catherine and the family, sending love and strength to them." It was a rare and poignant moment for a family long marked by distance and hardship. It was a moment that reminded the world that behind the palace walls and royal ceremonies, they were still human, vulnerable, hurting, and struggling to support one another. Yet beneath the condolences and polished statements, the royal family was quietly bearing the weight of private pain. January 23rd would haunt Prince William forever. In a quiet clinic room, with the royal family's lead cancer specialist, Dr. Marsden, wearing a solemn expression, one word changed everything: cancer. In that instant, William's world shattered. For the first time since his mother's funeral, the future King of England broke down, sobbing uncontrollably, feeling utterly helpless. The symptoms had been building for months, but nothing prepared him for this moment. At first, Catherine had simply felt more tired than usual, attributing it to the stress of long trips and raising 3 growing children. She assumed her recent weight loss was from stress, the persistent cough from a lingering flu, and the night sweats from hormonal changes. But the reality was far different. Even as her energy plummeted to the point where maintaining her usual royal composure became a struggle, she kept going. She showed up, smiled, and performed because it was expected, because the royal family never stops. But then came the moment that could no longer be ignored. A quiet family dinner at Anmer Hall became the turning point, the instant when everything changed forever. Laughter filled the room, candlelight flickered, and the children eagerly awaited a new bedtime story. Then, suddenly, Catherine collapsed. Her face went pale, her eyes glazed over. She didn't fully faint, but her exhaustion was enough to send William into a panic. The children screamed, and William immediately called for an ambulance. Within the hour, Catherine was examined by the royal physicians and placed under strict confidentiality. Tension gripped the household as worry mounted. Initial blood tests suggested severe anemia, but there was no clear diagnosis. Determined to understand what was happening, William requested further tests and information. It wasn't just exhaustion, something was wrong, and William knew it. Experts from the Royal Marsden Hospital were quietly brought in. More tests followed. CT scans, imaging, biopsies. The waiting was unbearable, every minute stretching into what felt like an eternity. Then, in a sterile clinic room on January 23rd, the diagnosis changed everything. Stage 3 ovarian cancer, malignant, with signs of metastasis. William held his breath, his heart racing just as it had when he was 15, walking behind his mother in the funeral procession, consumed by fear and loss. But this time, there was no crowd, no media, just silence. And in that silence, he broke down. Decades of royal composure crumbled under the weight of unimaginable fear, yet Catherine, the family's pillar of strength, remained steadfast. Her first question wasn't about survival odds or treatment options, it was quieter, more personal. Can I have more children? The doctors exchanged tense glances. The answer was likely no. Her second question was even harder. How do we tell the children? There was no easy answer. Plans were immediately set in motion. Surgery was scheduled with the nation's leading cancer surgeon, with the goal of removing the primary tumor, assessing the extent of the spread, and beginning treatment without delay. But hope felt fragile, and every moment was critical. Any delay could be costly. William left the hospital a changed man. He held Catherine's hand in the car but couldn't bring himself to meet her eyes, afraid of what he might see. In that moment, he wasn't the Prince of Wales, nor the future king. He was simply a husband broken by fear and uncertainty. And yet, this was only the beginning. The decision to go public with the truth carried a price too heavy to measure, leading to days of tense arguments behind the palace walls. William pleaded for more time, but Catherine insisted on honesty. The longer they hid the truth, the more rumors distorted it. So the family chose not only to disclose the illness, but also to take control of the narrative. William wasn't ready. His instincts, shaped by decades of royal upbringing, told him to protect, to wait, to shield the woman he loved from the public scrutiny. He thought they could keep it under wraps a little longer, perhaps until the first round of treatment was complete, or until she looked healthier, more like herself. But Catherine knew better. She understood what was happening. Questions started to surface. Staff whispered quietly among themselves, security was increased, flights were suddenly canceled, and vague explanations followed. It was only a matter of time before someone spoke out, and when they did, it wouldn't be the full truth, only their version of it. The couple's disagreement wasn't dramatic, it was quiet, painful, and full of love. William feared exposure, while Catherine worried about the consequences of keeping the secret. She wasn't afraid of people knowing she was sick. She was afraid of losing control over her story. She feared that one day her children would read guesses and rumors from strangers instead of hearing the truth from her own voice. She wanted to control the story not out of pride, but to protect her family, especially George, Charlotte, and Louis. With a determination only Catherine could summon, the plan was set in motion. A film crew was brought into Windsor Gardens under strict confidentiality. The set was simple. No palace fanfare, no royal flags, just a mother sharing the hardest chapter of her life with the world. The filming itself was grueling. William stood just outside the camera's view, holding her hand tightly, offering silent support. Catherine's voice cracked only once when she spoke about her children. That was the moment William almost stopped her, but she kept going, saying every word. Hours before the public release, the media had been alerted. Editors and directors received direct notifications and were instructed to clear airspace by 6 p.m. sharp. No explanations, no previews, no scripts, just be ready. The Palace Communications Office coordinated every detail: press releases, online platforms, and simultaneous uploads on royal channels. The operation ran like a well-oiled machine, yet it felt as if it were teetering on a cliff, with the truth slowly unfolding, though not everything had been revealed just yet. The public would learn that her cancer had reached a serious stage, that treatment had begun, and that Catherine would be stepping back from royal duties. But the deeper details, metastasis, the exact risks, the moments of collapse, remained behind palace walls. Meanwhile, William stood by the children's bedroom window as the video aired, watching the sun set behind the trees. Outside, the world reacted, crying, speculating, mourning. Inside Anmer Hall, however, there was no time for sympathy. While the world grieved, the real battle had only just begun. Inside the private sanctuary of Wales, fairy tales gave way to hospital visits and quiet reassurances. Catherine plastered her daughter's crayon drawings on the walls, little shields against despair. George stopped crying in public. Charlotte started drawing happy endings, and little Louis just wanted his mother to read one more bedtime story. Anmer Hall, once a refuge from the royal spotlight, had become the epicenter of a family straining under pressure. Deciding how to tell the children was far from easy, even with the doctor's guidance. Psychologists offered guidance, but there was no royal handbook for explaining to young children that their mother might not survive. George, now old enough to grasp the seriousness, nodded solemnly, asking few questions and staying close. Charlotte held on to hope the only way she knew how, through drawings filled with sunshine, hearts, and smiling faces. Louis, the youngest, didn't fully understand the word cancer, but he sensed something was wrong. His questions were simple, yet profound. Will Mum still breastfeed me? Why is Mum so tired? There seemed to be no answer that could ever feel enough. The Middleton family moved in quietly, without any formal announcement. Carol became the anchor of the household, cooking, planning, comforting, and protecting. Michael handled invisible but vital tasks, from securing the house to coordinating schooling and logistics. The palace couldn't manage the public affairs alone. Their presence wasn't just helpful, it was essential. Without them, William and Catherine might have collapsed much sooner. Catherine's transformation was difficult, and the public only ever saw the carefully curated moments, if they saw anything at all. What do you think about the Middletons' role in all of this? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated with more insider stories about the royal family. But behind those closed doors, the truth could no longer be hidden. Her hair began falling out in patches, her skin started to peel, and she often needed help just to climb the stairs. On her worst days, she couldn't lift her head. On brighter days, she read to her children, even if her voice was barely a whisper. The physical toll was brutal and relentless, yet she never let the children see her break. William struggled to divide himself, carrying the weight of it all while facing his own private pain.